Good afternoon to you with Newsfeed. I'm Stephen Curtis. Well, more on that decision around local elections in just a moment. First, in KwaZulu-Natal this afternoon, we do expect Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi to be making a presentation. He says he's going to be speaking on behalf of King Msizulu Kazwelithini in just a few minutes. We'll take you live there when that briefing begins. Also, in about 45 minutes from now in Tshwane, another briefing from government, the latest, of course, on the violence which occurred last week, the looting which accompanied it. Well, the breaking news so far this afternoon, the former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke confirming a recommendation that he is making to the Electoral Commission that the local elections be postponed until next year. The DA spokesperson is Siviwe Gwarube. Siviwe, good afternoon to you. This news, of course, just to hand. Your first reaction.
Good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to your viewers. Look, I mean, we've noted the recommendation made by the former Chief Justice. As you know, we have been pretty vocal about the fact that we are of the view that regular free and fair elections are an important part of our constitutional democracy, and therefore we did not support the postponement of the local government elections. And so we will be studying this report and we will be considering what our steps are, because of course, as you have stated with your previous guest, there are some massive constitutional implications should the IEC take on this recommendation by the former Chief Justice. And so we've got to be able to have those conversations with the IEC and then map our way forward from there. But as we said also in our input to the IEC during the process that they had, was that we don't view the readiness of political parties as a reason to postpone an election, and that the Constitution makes it quite clear that local government elections should happen every 5 years, and that we should steer clear of postponing elections if we are able to at least guarantee from the IEC's side that they will be able to be free and fair and safe. And so we were of the view that, and still are, that in fact we should be continuing this because citizens need an ability to renew the mandate of those who represent them in local councils.
The key question really is, are you going to oppose this if it goes to court? Are you also perhaps going to demand that it goes through a parliamentary process, not just a court process? In other words, you can't just make new law through a court, you would have to change the Constitution.
Look, and that is exactly the point that I was making about the constitutional implications, because it would now be interesting to hear from the IEC how it is that it seeks to petition the Con Court in this regard. And also we will be looking at that process quite clear. As you said, these laws cannot, the amendment of a constitutional provision needs to be taken through a parliamentary process. And so we will also be looking at our legal options in this regard. We'll be looking at the process and whether or not it is in line with our with the Constitution. Because, Stephen, one of the biggest things that we are wary of is that once we start getting into a habit of saying we'll postpone elections for one reason or another, then we start to set a very dangerous precedent. And the Constitution makes it quite clear that the mandate is on the people of South Africa to be able to elect the government that they want. And so this is a very, as you said, a landmark recommendation, and how the IEC proceeds here is going to be quite important for a legal precedent.
Siviwe Gwarube, thanks very much indeed, spokesperson